So what's good? What's good? What's good with y'all? Y'all know what it is. It's the top of the hour, 09, and it's time for formation. So come on and fall in with your favorite vets on the net. Y'all know who it is. It's me, your boy Trey, and this is E2G Sports Network presents First Formation Morning Sports Talk. It's a beautiful morning, Sunday morning, Monday. Correction, I'm sorry, Monday morning, uh, late in October. You know what it's getting ready to be. It's coming on to all the fall holiday. You got Thanksgiving coming up, being kicked off with the harvest or Halloween, as most of us know it as. So, what's good, everybody? What's going on? How did you enjoy your weekend? Uh, how did your teams fare? Of course, we always get to it with the early trash talk, morning talks, side talk, all that. Drunk, don't come on here with that this morning, brother. This C drunk of all drunk, I would never expected it to be you to be the first person to come on with the tomfoolery. I thought we had something drunk. I thought we had the understanding of amongst you amongst um brethren in this sports conversation. But of course, in any case that he is happy, we're going to get to that. Of course, drunk. So I hope you still remain in formation. What's good? What's going on, sis? Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Miss Kneef, aka Intrepid, sis. Um, yeah, a lot going on. So, in a sense, even a lot going on from the standpoint of um, being humble. So, I try my best not to spread and talk too much about these teams and everything that has happened. Um, and just stick to the professionalism and the professional that I am. It's good, man. It's all right because if I do it to Bishop and Ron all the time. Although Ron has been able to escape such handling, but it's a lot of season left. NBA season, NFL season, just coming to the end of the MLB season, which I have no more dog in the fight. But neither does too many other people, unless you're a Phillies and or Houston fan, in which you have to hear them Houston Astro fans. Look at it, Anthony and Jordan coming on with the conversation in reference to the Washington Commanders. Um, I guess when you look at it, it takes a little turmoil in your organization to be hot. Boston should be representing right now in the NBA. Phoenix should be representing in the NBA. And of course, the Commanders represented in the NFL is crazy, but we'll get to it all within our the allotted time that we have for the show. So, of course, like I said, first off, let's get to it. MLB action. As we just talked about, the World Series is set. If you wasn't paying attention, you should be paying attention now. Hear it here. I know you won't be hearing here first because, of course, if you the World Series is, however, set. Philadelphia Phillies, Philadelphia stand up. The finishes off San Diego's Padres in 5 games in their best of 5 series, winning the series 4-1 as they handled business yesterday, winning with a victory of 4-3 in Game 5. The Houston Astros keep rolling along. If you haven't paid attention, the Houston Astros have reached the World Series 4 of the last 6 years. That's right, 4 of the last 6 years. That may sound similar to that in which the Golden State Warriors 4 of 6 of the 8 years, winning two. The Houston Astros 4 of the last 6 years, as they overwhelmingly demolished the New York Yankees in a 4 game sweep, finishing them off 6-5 in the weather delayed game, and keep rolling in this tournament. They have yet to lose a game in this tournament of what has now been presents them and put them in position to where now they get a chance to go and see if they can do a clean sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies and walk away with yet another World Series title, coupled with not losing a single game at all. We're here for it to see if it's going to happen. As Anthony said, Philly not going to. It's not going to happen for Philly. Too many pitchers in Houston. They taking care of business. They handling it. You know what I'm saying? I got to just give it to them, as much as I don't want to. Uh, Dynasty like. That's all I can say. Uh, so of course, like I said, it had that. Let me see. Let me switch screens. So, if shout out for the Phillies and as well as the Houston fans. Um, Taking care of business now. They have the opportunity to go on and continue to be great. Um, of course, game one in the best of seven series will start on Friday, October 26th. That's when everything kicks off. So, of course, y'all could be planning. Got Thursday night football, a couple of games on for college, and then you have the World Series to start Friday, October 26th in Space City, H Town, uh, as they kick off the World Series. So, of course, there was a lot going on in the amateur ranks, I guess you could say. The amateur ranks being college being this college football, with of course top 25 made no changes really. I mean, there was some changes in top 25. A couple things went down. First and foremost, one thing I didn't realize or didn't know and that had no inkling about is the NCAA. That's the National Collegiate Athletic Association has a policy, and what it is a policy that is basically put in place to kind of like thwart organizations being, or correction, institutions from being a part of things such as storming the field, uh, tearing property up at saying in certain places. Um, in which in the last couple of weeks there has been plenty of that going on in the SEC, Southeastern Conference. If y'all know it, presumably one of the most dominant conferences in the NCAA when it comes to football. In this, what has happened is the just last week, as we know, Tennessee took care of Alabama and with a in the um, late in the game, in which Tennessee won their game, and the students in Tennessee stormed the field, and while doing that, they basically enacted a fine for the Tennessee Volunteers. The second one in its kind, to which it put for it, it basically activated $100,000 bonus. Now these monies, when they get these fines, goes to a SEC college graduate fund. So you have different type of fines. So the first fine, $50,000 for the first offense. Second fine, $100,000 for the second offense. Third fine, $250,000 for a third offense, and every fine after that remains at the $250,000 threshold. So in this, so just like I said, I'm getting to it because there's actually a couple of things. There's a lot of moving pieces here, so just bear with me. So interestingly enough, like I said last week, um, Tennessee was fined 100,000 because there's their second offense. What I didn't know, or interesting to know, there's a video that's going around with Alabama wide receiver Tremaine Burton, and supposedly he decks, sacks, smacks, wallops a young lady that is running on the field while the Alabama players are, I presume, walking off. So he smacks or hits this lady. Um, she gets the video. She posts this on her TikTok, and yet this young man wasn't fined or anything like that. Basically, Coach Nick Saban came on and stated and alluded to he didn't feel that there was a reason for Mr. Burden to be fined. Especially, he's like he would presume that no one else would either if they knew the situation or the circumstances of the altercation or the assault, or however you want to label it. Of course, he said he reiterates that the player was scared in state. The player was scared, even more so. The other players for the Alabama team were scared as well. Currently, he says the player is in counseling, but it is not anger management. That does not want He does not want that to be anything that's being said that the player is in anger management, but the player is out there. So fast forward a little bit, come this week, as we're gonna get into it in a few minutes. Matter of fact, we'll get to it when I get there. We'll bring that up. Of course, the top 25 in college, NCAA protecting Alabama. So I think the NCAA didn't have anything to do with this. I think the fine would have came from Alabama to Burton if that was the case, Anthony. But I'm very sure the NCAA had something to say about it. But in any case, real quick, as we run through these top 25 scores, and then the top 25 as well, the rankings, the new rankings, Iowa walks into Ohio State. And they didn't walk out too well. Ohio State gets the W 54-10, remaining number 2. UT Martin went to number 3 ranked Tennessee. Exactly what we thought it was. Tennessee gets the win 65-24. Clemson did battle with Syracuse, and which Syracuse was out running, had them on the ropes, uppercut, body blow, but they got a new cut man in, and he got in and took care of business. As a coach, DJ Uiagalelei was benched some point in the game. It was Jabba Sweeney said he just think they needed something different to spark. They got that spark with the backup. The backup was able to bring them back, although Coach Dabo Sweeney has stated that DJ is still the starting quarterback. He earned the right to be called the starting quarterback. He just had a little of an issue, and he was and he will be back at it next week. But of course, like I said, Syracuse does fall to Clemson. Nothing to hang their head low about because they had them. I guess you could say they can when you look at the simple fact of they were up. But Clemson walks away with the win, winning 27-21 over number 14 ranked Syracuse. Another battle of the ranks in the same conference. Alabama, number 6 Alabama, take care of business, winning 30-6 over then number 4, 24th ranked Mississippi State. Kansas tried to do what they could, but of course it didn't work. TCU holds off to the undefeated season, continues to remain undefeated as they were number 8. TCU took care of number 17 ranked Kansas State 38-28. Another hell of a grudge match. Number 9 ranked UCLA against number 10 ranked Oregon, in which Oregon was able to set the record straight, handle business, knock UCLA from the ranks of unbeaten with the 45-30 win. Number 20, Texas, fell to number 11 ranked Oklahoma State with a score of 41-31. Boston College was defeated by number 13 ranked Wake Forest 43-15. Number 21, Cincinnati barely squeaked past SMU with a 29-27 victory. Tulane ranked first time since 2008, I believe it was, 9 or 15. In any case, they're ranked 25, and they take care of business, knocking off Memphis 38-28. And, of course, back to what we was talking about earlier, the Bayou Bengals, Louisiana State University, took on number 7 ranked Ole Miss or Mississippi, in which they were able to handle business. Upset of the day as Mississippi falls to LSU 45-20, in which in this game, same thing happened last week, minus the punching, unless nothing has came out yet. What's good, Frank? Good morning. Stanley, how you doing, brother? Um, in which they took care of business. LSU gets the, like I said, gets the W 45-20, but they take a L in their pocketbooks as their students bum rush the field, in which this makes it LSU's third infraction on the field policy. Now they have to pay $250,000 for that violation. The last time it happened is when they, I think 2018, they had a situation where the students bum rushed the field, ran the field, and that enacted the $1,000 policy. Now here they are at $250,000, in which it now every time after this they have to pay $250,000. But of course, those monies, as I stated before, goes to the SEC college graduate fund, in which, saying maybe it goes to a good thing. So maybe that's not the worst that could happen. But of course, it has happened. But like we said, with those wins and losses, there's of course some movement in the top 25 as we get closer and closer to that, in which the CFP is going to start determining what the college rankings are for the playoffs, college playoffs. But of course, the AP poll will continue to go on, in which the Associated Press will continue to produce their rankings. But at this point, with a win over the weekend, South Carolina gets into the top 25 at number 25. NC State, number 24. Tulane, with their win, moves up 2 spaces to number 23. Uh, of course, Jackie, I see you with the H-Town Go Astros. Yes, we know. Um, excuse me. At number 22, Kansas State. After their loss. At number 21, North Carolina. Number 20, Cincinnati with their win. Kentucky, no games, stays at number 19. LSU with the win catapults from not being ranked to number 28, number 18 with their win over Ole Miss. Number 18 in the now. Illinois is at number 17. Syracuse drops 2 slots to number 16. Ole Miss falls 6 to number 15. Utah at number 14. Penn State number 13. UCLA number 12 with their loss to Oregon this weekend. Wake Forest and USC sit at number 10 respectfully, which is not bad. USC moves up and they can even play a game. Gotta love it. Number 9, Oklahoma State, after their victory over Texas. Number 8, Oregon, with their victory over number 9 ranked UCLA, moves up to number 8 in the top, moving within the top 10. TCU at number 7 with their victory, moving up 1 spot. Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Georgia all remain in their current, what they were before, sitting at number 6 apiece. Of course, now that puts the SEC at 7 teams in the top 25. The ACC at second with the most, with 25 teams in the top 25. The Big Ten with 4, Pac-12 with 4, Big 12 with 3, and American Conference with 2. Of course, I like to point out my beloved Pac-12 currently, before we move to the Big Ten, has 4. Their 4 teams are all in the top 15, with 2 in the top 10. Of course, we have this coming week. I have a couple of ranks versus rank that will continue to shape how the season will go, or how the rankings will go. Of course, number 2, Ohio State takes on number 13, Penn State, which could be detrimental to one team, one or the other. I'm sure if Penn State can take care of business and knock off Ohio State falls out the top 25, falls out the top 2, falls out the top 6 in this time frame, drops out the top 6. Penn State gets a hellacious jump, I will be sure. And now someone else moves into the top 6 for the CFP. Number 19, Kentucky takes on number 3, Tennessee, against the same scenario as before. The last time the Wildcats beat the Volunteers was in 1951. So I don't know, but this is a different Kentucky squad. Of course, the aforementioned Ohio State has won the previous 5 contests versus Penn State. Do they get a 6th one? does Penn State take care of business? And number 9, Oklahoma State will be taking on number 22 ranked Kansas State. The second meeting out of the 65 matchups with them both being ranked. The first one was won in 2011 when the Cowboys, that being the Oklahoma State Cowboys, won 52-45. So, of course, a lot of at stake as we get closer. The CFPs is about to start popping up and jumping out there, in which makes it a little bit more exciting. Teams poach one another, and then after all the poaching then goes on, they fall back, and we start to see how these organizations and teams move forward. Institutions and the teams move forward. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Uh, Moving right along into another one of those situations to where NBA. So we know the NBA season started last week. We know this, that the NBA season started last week. As dismal as it is, seemingly, the NBA started last week. Dismal for Lakers fans, I say. But in any case, it's a long season. Still got 82, still have 79 games to be played. So things could get turned around. But in any case, a couple of games were played, right? Let me get to this. A total of 7 games were played last night. What's good? What's good? What's good? ISO, how you doing? I bet, Miss Stanton, I'm sure. What's good, Nate? How you doing, Nathan? Brother ISO. Um, Good morning, brother. Glad to see your information. Glad to have y'all information. Appreciate y'all checking and popping in with me. Um, but yesterday, yesterday in NBA. The Lakers. I love my Lakers. Love my Lakers. But it's becoming very painfully obvious to me that something needs to happen. Last night, the Los Angeles Lakers took on the undefeated Portland Trailblazers, in which it was a game in which we had in our hands, but couldn't hold on. The Lakers fall to the Portland Trailblazers 106-104, in which Damian Lillard dropped 41 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist from Jeremy Grant. 12 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists from Anthony Hardaway. Not Hardaway, Anthony Simons. Contributions from Justin Willis with 7 points. Nasir Little with 7 points. Josh Hart with 9 points. 16 rebounds as well. The Lakers, LeBron's 15 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists to lead the Lakers. 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists for Anthony Davis. 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist for Lonnie Walker. Russell Westbrook, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Contributions to Patrick Beverley with 7 points, Austin Reeves 7 points, 4 points apiece for Troy Brown and Juan Toscano Anderson. 4 points for Damian Jones. But yet, we had a lead, 8-point lead at that, late in the fourth quarter, and we lost the game. 2 potential Hall of Famers in your starting lineup. You got 8 points an 8-point lead, and you can't close it out. Russell Westbrook was benched in the waning minutes of the game um, by Coach Darvin Ham, in which Coach Ham was asked what they thought, if he thought there would be any backlash for the benching. Of course, Coach Ham responded and stated that he doesn't care, saying about that. He's like, he doesn't have time for feelings or how people feel about where they feel they should be at a certain time in the game. We have to turn this thing around. Coach Darvin Ham has further iterated that he just thinks he doesn't think anything bad of Mr. Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, that being, just that he needs to, or the team, not just Russell Westbrook, the team needs to figure out their shot selection. Of course, one of these shot selections of which is in question is Russell Westbrook took a 14-foot jumper early in the shot clock, in which no one is saying that he shouldn't have shot it. It's just he shouldn't have shot it from there. A long two is almost like playing defense on yourself. So they feel like he shouldn't have shot the long two. Maybe he should have came downhill and attacked the basket. Russ say in his mind he was looking at a 2-for-1, where they was looking at getting two possessions within the same within the same series, and it didn't work because, of course, there was no rebound. That's shot selection. The Lakers at this point, 3-point shooting is 25 for 118. They shot 18% from the field last night from 3-point. Is it a fair assumption for those that are out there listening or laughing, giggling at me, laughing at my pain? Is there a possibility? Or is the fact that the Lakers have dismal 3-point shooting at this point, is that going to be a Achilles heel for them? Is this going to hurt them? Where is Coach Walcott, Commissioner Myers, Coach Hunter, Coach Paris, Coach Parker, any and all the coaches that's out there? Where are y'all at? Answer that question for me. Is this going to hurt us going forward? Be on this NBA stuff for a little bit after you go through these, so feel free to answer at any time. But of course, like I said, the Lakers 0-3 at this point with the 106-104 loss to the Portland Trailblazers. I almost just had to take a second there, TaylorMade. But in any case, it must go on. The Charlotte Hornets, as TaylorMade was just talking about, Charlotte got the win in grand fashion, 126-109 over the Atlanta Hawks, 2-1 on the year. Going 2-1 on the year. I don't know at this point, Drunk. It would depend on who we giving it up for. It ain't just giving up for anyone. Like, it would depend. It ain't that. Like, at that point, we just up and continue to go the way we're going before that. It has to be a value. So I'm not sure if I would say we'd give up 2 first rounders for Russ. Like, who are we getting in return? Like I was saying, you know what? I had thought about that slightly too, Drunk, that this is possibly like, is Russ just doing this on his own to get out, or what's going on? So, but I like to think that he's not. He's just having a hard time. Again, I don't think he's being used correctly, or maybe he's in his own head. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. But in any case, the Hornets, a pretty good showing. 24 points, Kelly Oubre in 32 minutes, 10 rebounds. 20 points from Nick Richards, 11 rebounds, 1 assist. 10 points from James Bouknight, 1 rebound, 2 assists. 12 points apiece from PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward with 3 rebounds, 5 assists. PJ with 3 rebounds, 1 assist. 18 points for Dennis Smith Jr., 2 rebounds, 86 to go. Along with that, Jalen McDaniels, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. As the Hornets took care of business, the Hawks, led by Trey Young's 28 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 10 points from Onika Okongwu. 10 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. Correction, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. 10 points apiece from John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. John Collins with the double-double, 10 rebounds with 1 assist as well, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for DeAndre Hunter. 19 for DeJounte Murray with 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Aaron and Justin Holiday contributed with 3 and 2 points respectively. But of course, like I said, it wasn't enough to equal the output of the Charlotte Hornets, getting the 126-109 victory to move on to 2-1 on the year. Atlanta 2-1 with their loss and moving forth. Also, the Cleveland Cavaliers held host to the Washington Wizards, in which the Cavaliers were victorious, winning 117-107. The Wizards, led by Bradley Beals, 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Ryu Hachimura, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists from Kristaps Porzingis, 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists from Kyle Kuzma, 9 points from Will Barton, 7 from Delon Wright, and Monte Morris with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Cavaliers was led by Donovan Spider Mitchell's 37.5 rebounds, 4 assists output, 16 points from C.D. Osman, 3 assists, 15 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists from Jarrett Allen. 10 points apiece from Karis LeVert and Evan Mobley. Mobley with 7 rebounds, Karis LeVert with 3, Mobley 2 assists, Karis 4. Kevin Love, 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 14 minutes of play. Robin Lopez, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Neto with 4 points, and Dean Wade, 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. With the win that puts basically Cleveland Cavaliers and Washington with the loss at 2 games won, 1 game lost for the start of the season. Like, some people are doing all right compared to good old LA. Continue on with a hellacious game, very close game, although they were out and running. Even with the loss comes a couple of other losses, as the Utah Jazz, now 3-0, took on the New Orleans Pelicans, now 2-1. Of course, if you hear that, you know who got the W. Utah Jazz win 122-121. The Jazz, led by Lauri Markkanen's 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists, followed up by Kelly Olynyk's 20 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Jordan Clarkson, 18 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist from Jared Vanderbilt. Also contributions, 7 points, Mike Conley, Mark Kessler, 7 points, 4 points, Malik Beasley, 7 points, Tyler Horton Thornton, Rudy Gay, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, Colin Sexton, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. But all the heavy lifting done by the foursome. The Pelicans, led by CJ McCollum's 28 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist for Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram, 10 points, 1 rebound, no assist. Of course, Ingram did go out in the first quarter, what was supposedly might be seen as a concussion. Larry Nash, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist from Trey Murphy III. Herb Johnson, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Valanciunas with 6 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Like I said, Pelicans take the L, as well as they lose Brandon Ingram potentially with a concussion, possibly may lose a couple of games. Zion Williamson, as he may have sustained a hip contusion as he went down after a block by Jordan Clarkson, left the game. So he's going to be evaluated, and more to come for that. Of course, so for me, drunk, I think this is an NFL still. I think it's an NFL, of course, the conglomerate that it is. NFL, college, World Series is coming to a wrap, so they're going to be done soon. Um, and then NBA, but NBA is going to be the later of the two. Of course, we got NCAA is going to go. What's good, Sauce? What's going on? What's going on? Glad to have information. Of course, the NBA in the college basketball hasn't started yet, but of course we know this college basketball is going to end before the NBA ends. So yeah, that's for me. I think it's still college. I think it's the football, the gridiron, pigskin um, representatives is going to is the priority for me. That's the priority. Sits. Um, yeah. So yes, that's exactly right. Zion goes down. Taylor May, he's down and out, hip contusion, possibly. They're getting evaluated, and we'll see basically how that goes. Unfortunate, especially when you look at what he did to get back, showing that dominance, and now he's potentially going to be sitting out depending on the severity of his injury. Um, like I said, game 7 game slate. Other games last night, Minnesota Timberwolves take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Timberwolves with the Twin Towers. And they didn't disappoint, getting a 10-point W, going to 2-1 on the season, winning 116 to now currently the unwinnable Oklahoma City Thunder 106. Thunder led by 20 points from Lou Dort, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 points apiece from Trey Mann and Josh Giddey. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists for Jeremiah Robinson Earl. 11 points from Mike Muscola. Uh, 13 points from Omari. 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Aaron Wiggins, 5 rebounds, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. As the Timberwolves handled by Anthony Edwards, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Actually, 7 players in double figures. It's just that Anthony Edwards led the charge. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists from Carl Anthony Towns. 11 points, 1 rebound from Jaden McDaniels. 15 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist from Rudy Gobert. Jalen Noel was 14.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for Teron. Prince, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Naz Reid. And then it basically ends there. So just about finishing up, getting the whole bench in. They taking care of business. Again, Minnesota Timberwolves 2-1 on the year. Oklahoma City 0-3. But again, as we continue to say, until it's not, long season still ahead of us for everyone to potentially turn around. 2 more games left. Of course, the Sacramento Kings faced off against the hosting Golden State Warriors, in which the Kings close but no cigar. Fall to the Golden State Warriors, 130 to 125. The Kings, led by De'Aaron Fox's 26 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists from Domantas Sabonis, 16 points apiece from Keegan Murray and Malik Young's. Keegan Murray, 4 rebounds, Monk, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists, close to a triple-double, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists short of triple-double. Rashawn Holmes, 15 points, 5 rebounds, no assists, 7 points from Davion Mitchell. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists from Kevin Horter. KZ Akabala in 4 minutes of play, only 1 rebound. Harrison Barnes, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 21 minutes of play. For the Warriors, led by Steph Curry's 33-point output, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 24 points from Jordan Poole with 4 assists to go. James Wiseman, 14.6 rebounds, 3 assists. Andre Wiggins, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Draymond Green, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Kevin Looney, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Klay Thompson, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Moody, 3 points. Green, 3 points. DiVincenzo, 4 points. And lastly, Kuminga, 4 points as well. Of course, like I said, that puts Golden State second win of the season, 2-1 on the year. Golden Sacramento falls to the rank as 0-3 in the West. Again, a lot of season left. There may be winless, but it's not completely done yet. And of course, the last game of the latest game of the night, that being the Phoenix Suns, which presented us a milestone face off against the Los Angeles Clippers, in which the Clippers got defeated 112-95 as their old former player comes back um, to meet a NBA milestone. Chris Paul getting reaching the 11,000 assist plateau. Additionally, also becoming the first player in NBA history to be a 20,000 point scorer as well as 11,000 assists getter, or I guess assists in total for his career. Suns win 112-95, 2-1 on the season. Clippers 2-1 on the season themselves. The Clippers, led by Marcus Morris Sr.'s 22-point output, 5 rebounds and 1 assist, 16.7 rebounds, 4 assists from Paul George. Kawhi Leonard, 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 17 points, 4 assists for John Wall. Ivica Zubac, 2 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 points, 3 rebounds for Norwell Powell. Luke Kennard, 2 points, 3 rebounds. Nicholas Batum, 3 points, as well as Covington, 3 points. 9 points from Terrence Mann, 2 points from from Brandon Boston Jr., and 1 rebound from Amir Coffey. The Suns, however, led by Devin Booker's 35 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Chris Paul, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. Torrey Craig, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Malik Bridges, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Cameron Johnson, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. DeAndre Ayton, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. Damian Lee, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. As again, the Suns take care of business. Chris Paul moving to number 3 on the all-time assist list. As we know, he's currently at 11,000. Jason Kidd is at 12, a little over 12,000. Of course, the leader, John Stockton, with over 15,000 assists. You should see how that goes, where that goes. Do y'all think Chris could catch Jason Kidd? I don't know. He needs about 1,200 assists. Can he get 1,200 assists in a year? That's basically like saying every time someone touches the ball, they have to put it in the hole. So I don't see that. I don't know how many more years Chris has, but I think with 3 to 4, Applewhite says no. I think with 3 or 4 years if he continues to play for another 3 or 4 years, Chris Paul, with 300, average of 300 assists a year, he'll catch Jason Kidd. So we'll see. It remains to be seen. I don't know what his average is for. I don't know what his average is. Hmm. Uh, where we at? Next up. So, of course, other games slated for tonight. An 8-game slate. Hey, good morning, Irma. Glad to see you in formation with us, man. Hope all is going well. Games for tonight, 8-game slate. They probably coming up, Sauce. I would doubt it. I think he has the ability to turn it on and turn it off, but he's that time is coming. I'm sure it's coming. But hey, if he still have it, play at a high level, continue to do it. Nothing wrong with it. So tonight's game, of course, the Indiana Pacers will be hosted by the Philadelphia 76ers. The Miami Heat will be hosting the Toronto Raptors, as they just had a game on Saturday in which 2 of their players were suspended. 3 players suspended. in which Caleb Martin and Jokic were suspended 1 game for their scuffle that ensued during their game. Uh, Akalu Loco, I'm sorry, he was tossed for this game 1 and fined, but not suspended, as they had a whole brawl that broke up from Caleb, a foul in which Caleb ensued. So the Toronto Raptors will be back in Miami for that game, um, going for their game tonight. Orlando Magic will be hosted by the New York Knicks. Houston Rockets host the undefeated Utah Jazz. The Chicago Bulls go do host. Correction. The Boston Celtics, go to Chicago to be hosted by Chicago Bulls tonight. Memphis Grizzlies face off against the Brooklyn Nets in Memphis. Minnesota Timberwolves will host the San Antonio Spurs, and the undefeated Portland Trailblazers host the Denver Nuggets tonight. Like you said, 8 games in rotation, as well as a Monday night game. Hey, just like Drunk was saying earlier, I'm doing good, Armor. Thank you for asking. Um, as they're saying in succession, like Drunk was saying earlier, a lot of games, a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports all at one time. Where do you set your priorities? Where else? Where else? Where else? Where else? So going last topic in NBA, of course, um, Commissioner Adam Silver addressed the Phoenix Suns organization as a whole, their employees and everything, as they he wanted to continue to give his um, apologies and trying to get their apologies in reference to how their owner Robert Sarver had handled the workplace. So he continues to say that he continuously expressed that they were sorry and he was sorry for how everything came about and all things. In that conversation, I guess it was asked if there would be what they thought of tanking. So of course, as we know, Victor Wembanyama, 7'5", phenom from France, is presumably going to be the top player in this upcoming draft, in which Commissioner Silver stated that uh, with such a once in a lifetime generational talent, that he expects there to be some type of uh, conversation or talks or seemingly things that go on that look or resemble that of tanking. So he said, of course, it has initiated many meetings to have a conversation about how do they go forth? How do you stop this? How do you stop an organization from tanking or even looking like they are tanking? Right? In many cases, some organizations aren't eligible or unavailable to get. Even if they did tank, they traded the stuff away, so they can't even be in play for a player of Wembanyama's stature. But of course, Adam Silver talked about a couple of things. He's like, it's very hard. He's like, he discussed and talked about how potentially they have talked about maybe the worst 2 teams in the NBA being relegated down to the G League and promotion of 2 teams from the G League being enacted, right? He said, of course, that's not for matter, but because that team will have to be ready to go and be in place in 1 year to continue to be an NBA, to even be ready to play at the highest level when it comes to the NBA. So it's like, as much as they've talked about that, it's not a good business model. I think it would be exciting. Can you imagine G League Ignite hosting games or being in play to of being in the position to play. But of course, that's not going to happen. They've already done what they can. At one point, there was a stronger weight system for the top three teams, the top three losses in the NBA, where it was a 25%, 20%, and 16% weighted. And they leveled that and made it 14% apiece. So that way it's harder or it makes it a level playing field for those top three teams. We see what that has done. So at this point, he doesn't know what it is that they could potentially be doing to thwart or maybe even incentivize organizations to not tank. We all know about the process. We spoke about that a little earlier. Um, Baseball person, I'm a fan of the postseason games. I feel you drunk second college football, third NBA last. Uh, just this even mark. Jackson sideline interview with Victor from weeks ago. Carries himself as a number one. He does. And you know what I'm saying? I would figure that he has plenty of people that's in his ear that's giving him I think experience does a lot, right? Or having people who are experienced. Now it just becomes a situation where you have to be able to listen or pay attention to that. Like we've all been like everything I'm a huge believer that everything in front of us has a blueprint. It's a blueprint for anything, just about anything what you want to do or can do. You just have to follow it as best you can as it works for you. Victor, I'm sure, has a blueprint in place. There's a lot of things that are different from the times in which Kobe, LeBron, or any of them have came to the league. So there's other benefits and there's other things. I mean, think about it. Bronny is not Victor, and he's capitalizing immensely. You still got Mikey Williams, who's been capitalizing for maybe a 2 year or two. The NIL deals for the amateurs. There's all kinds of stuff that puts people in position. All you gotta do is look at what people are doing for you, make it work for you, tailor it to you, and make it work. Chance for people to win. Don't worry, Adam's going to get a team that makes the playoffs, get the number one pick one year. I'm very sure he's not going to do that, Drew, because it's going to be hard to justify. But I get where you're going. Sometimes you have to take unjust measures to make things happen or make it show. But just like he said, I'm very sure it was key. It was something that he said in the interview in which I read. He is like, it's no different. The NBA makes a move, the teams make a move. It's chess at this point, and it's like everyone is basing different decisions and all that stuff off of different moves, and it's starting to it's cumbersome. I guess I could imagine, like, quote unquote. I guess you could say I'm a commissioner because I run the leagues that's here on Fort Polk. When it comes to basketball, football, softball, volleyball, all this type of stuff. And my biggest thing is engagement and competition, right? So for my program or programs, competition is key. I don't need a team that is beating the heads in of players of teams to where they feel like they can't compete, because at this point it's like, why, it's not worth my time to come out here to play if the league allows this. So for me, I'll be in feeling certain type of ways. And so I'm huge on the competition aspect of it. I don't like the fact of teams stacking unless I can get about 6 to 8 teams. If they're stacked, can we at least level the field with a whole bunch of different players on a whole bunch of different teams? Like, why does it have to? So I'm already putting stuff in my head, thinking about how I'm going to do things to thwart that. I got to put it in place, especially with our flag football season about to end this week. Um, and then basketball starts in January. I'm putting together a plan in my head on how I'm gonna go forth and do this, or set a different tone to get competition. So in that same thing, what can be incentivizing is at this time. I mean, we're not paying for that type of stuff, but at the same time, when it comes to the NBA, what can Commissioner Silver do to put forth some type of something to incentivize teams not to tank? Like, understand, we're not saying We understand some teams just can't compete. That's different from a team that's tanking. But then it starts to mesh as a thin line when you start looking at players start to teams start to are losing, and because they realize they're not that good and they're not able to compete, it becomes easier for them to continue to lacklusterly compete and to get the losses, because losses become better opportunities to have more players. And so, just like he's saying, it's hard to determine that that's what's going on. So that's just what it is. Um, Additionally, he also spoke about expansion, in which they talk about expansion, and just like the tanking, the expansion comes in to play as well. Because when you look at it, the if you go into expansion, now what you have is teams or organizations. The talent becomes watered down, and now there's a more of a distribution across the league, because now you just bring in another team that has to house 18, 12 to 16 players, two teams, 12 to 16 players. Now you're talking about 24 to 16 players now that have to be sent somewhere else, and now it takes away from the talent pool. Or in some instances, maybe it distributes the power where it makes it more competitive. I think the commissioner tends to believe that it's going to make it a less competitive and diminishes the talent pool a little more if you go into expansion. But of course, he said he's open to and will continue to take a look at that. It probably won't be at the earliest. It wouldn't be able to happen until after the 24-25 season, due to the fact that's when the 9-year contract expires in reference to the TV rights. So of course they would have to have renegotiated another rights deal, which in any case it might be beneficial and advantageous to know that okay, they have more teams, or potentially expand into certain markets that might be lucrative to some of the TV rights stations, and put that in place. So things going in place, and it's just some things that have to wait to happen. Everything can't just be quick, fast, in a hurry. We already know, of course. With that being said, there probably less is going to be just some huge mega uh, deal or experience or benefit for uh, that prior to. You're not going to see it. Let's see. The Cleveland teams tank for years, football and basketball. Cornelius, what's good, CC? Going to look at when LeBron retired. So, I mean, so it's all interesting. It's interesting to take a look or listen and hear that, or even the deep dive. Like when I was going through school, I used to do a lot of researches, and a lot of my research was based on the WNBA and why they are how they are and why they're doing this. I could assure you, probably right now, if I was still going through, or if I went back and pursued my master's and these type of questions go on, I think at this point I would be looking at the tanking aspect or um, the expansion aspect. Like, is it beneficial, particularly the expansion into Las Vegas? I so much think that's going to be a grand gesture, especially for the city of Las Vegas to get a baseball and an NBA team. But I very sure doubt it will happen. I think the basketball will happen before a baseball will. But I know when I was going through getting certified to be able to do sports advisory or agent athlete management, uh, it was always talked about how the market in Las Vegas was ready for other teams. Of course, that was way before Las Vegas got the Raiders, and you see what that's doing. The Aces, the Golden Knights. So now all they need is a baseball and basketball team, and they may be complete. Maybe an MLS team, Major League Soccer team, NBA, Major League Soccer, and a baseball team, and they'll be complete. It have all the major sports conferences in his backyard, especially with sports betting at an all time high. Who hit them parlays last night? Who hit a parlay? But in case that's all those topics for NBA, Lakers. Come on, man, I got to turn it around, bro. I'm glad I'm on here by myself today because I would sit up and be hearing it. Um, moving on. Next topic. Getting into that gridiron. Um, I would say follies, but I don't think it was too many follies last night. It didn't go as planned for everybody's team, but in some cases it went pretty well. Of course, our picks. At this point, I think the picks are hard, right? Mainly based on the fact of um, you just don't know. It's like there's nothing that is verified right now. The only thing that you say is verified for the most part is Philadelphia getting wins. Besides that, any given Sunday, someone else can pop up and do whatever. Uh, yes, Apple White. For the most part, I thought you had me. I was like, you know what? I'm finna lose yet another game, and the Dolphins kicker came in. I needed 7 points, and he got me that and some. Uh, so I definitely needed that because losing um, Brees Hall that hurt me. So it's good to have received points from somewhere else to help me out. Cornelius with Michael Parsons for president. So I don't know about for presidents, bro, but I do think maybe DPO. I mean DPY, DPYO. I mean OY potentially maybe, or even come back or not come back. Most improved, one of the two. I'm very sure he's a candidate for. Of course, like I was just stating, the New York Jets running back Brees Hall possibly out with an ACL tear as he went down in the second quarter of their game, in which is presumably is unfortunate, especially when you look at it, man, because this Hall finally got his opportunity, was getting his chance, and fell apart. We're not going to talk about Kansas City players yet, Applewhite. It's too soon. Too soon. Hella too soon. But let's get it from top. Let's just go from the top. Let me see. So we already know the Saints beat the Cardinals from Thursday. We covered that. First game, we'll talk about Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Jacoby Brissett, 22 for 27, 258 yards. Nick Chubb, 96 carries for 91 yards with the touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 5 carries, 40 yards with the touchdown. Kareem, I think your time is over, brother. You need to move on to greener pastures. Amari Cooper, 3 receptions, 74 yards. David Njoku, 7 yards, 7 receptions, 71 yards. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 6 for 71 yards. Chug, 16 catches, 16 yards on 2 catches. David Bell, 1 for 7, 2 for 15 as Harrison Bryant. The Ravens, 9 for 16, 120 yards would not be a number that you would think would be in correlation to Lamar Jackson. However, it was. Lamar, I need you to step up, man. Gus Edwards, 16 carries for 66 yards, 2 touchdowns, eating into Kenyon Drake's carries, 11 yards, 11 carries for 5 yards. Justice Hill, 5 carries for 26 yards. Lamar Jackson, 10 carries for 59 yards. Rashad Bateman, 4 receptions, 42 yards. Devin Duvernay, 2 receptions for 42 yards. Isaiah Likely, 1 for 16. Patrick Ricard, 2 for 20. At this point, As Kenori said, that division is a disappointment. At this point, I don't know. Like Lamar, maybe you should have got your deal. Maybe you would be playing a little more even keel if you already had your deal in place, because you seem to be going further and further down the proverbial rabbit hole without that deal in place. I'm very sure that Baltimore is going to show you love because they want to keep you, but how much love, I'm very sure, is what we're looking at is going to be is would it be. Y'all was able to squeak past, getting up the W 23-20, going improving to 4-3 on the year. Cleveland falls to 2-5 on the year, but Lamar, brother, I don't think you're doing yourself any justices at this point. Although, again, only halfway through the season, close to halfway through the season, so still could turn around. But got to make something shake, fam. Lamar be. Yes, he does. He does, but at some point, it's like, what are we going to do here? Like, yeah, the butts and seat. At that point, he could put other people butts in seats, or they could bring in someone else. Like Lamar, we here with you, Lamar. Moving on, next game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers faced off against the Carolina Panthers. Taylor May, where you at? Keep pounding, Panthers. Keep pounding. In that, Philip Walker, PJ Walker, third string quarterback Walker, currently the starter, 16 for 22, 177 yards with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Deontay Foreman, I told y'all about Foreman. Yes, CMC left, but Foreman was going to, he spelled Derrick Henry no problem. Like, that man is the truth. Deontay Foreman, 15 carries, 118 yards. Watch him come back next week and go and be a bust. Chuba Hubbard, 9 carries for 63 yards with a touchdown. DJ Moore, 1 carry, -3 yards with Blackshear. Raheem Blackshear, a -5. But DJ Moore, 7 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. Tommy Trimble, 1 reception, 29 yards and a touchdown. Terrence Waters, 2 receptions for 31 yards, 2 for 10 for Chuba Hubbard. LaVisca Chenault, 1 for 8. Deontay Foreman, 2 for 27. The Buccaneers, Tom, 32 for 49, 290 yards. Rashad White, 6 carries for 24 yards. Leonard Fournette, 8 for 19 yards. Chris Godwin with 1 for 2 yards rushing. Tom Brady rushed for 1 yard. Applewhite says Lamar just needs to stay healthy and make the playoffs, and they can show the worth in there. Of course, I think they're going to pay him regardless. It's just a matter of how much you're going to pay him now. You can't go to the table with that same argument if you didn't do anything different from if you did worse than your previous year. Foreman is a good running back. He just tore his Achilles in Houston and took a couple of years to get back. Is always a Trey. That's what you're saying, LaStanton. Always a Trey. Always that 3, huh? That's funny because the Trey in the fraternities fantasy league, I think he got a W this weekend over that quad squad. Yeah, I think I should be number one by the end of the day today. But in any case, yeah, Deontay Foreman made it happen. But back to Tampa Bay's stats. Mike Evans, 9 receptions, 96 yards, no touchdown, and he had the one that got away, the dropped, sure thing touchdown. No one in front of him, 25 yards. Didn't make the catch. It just happens like that sometimes. Kay Oden, 4 receptions, 64 yards. Chris Godwin, 7 receptions, 43 yards. Russell Gage, 4 receptions, 39 yards. It just, I guess when it rains, it pours. Not doing too good. Tampa Bay, 3-4 in the year with a 21-3 loss. Carolina moves to 2-5 on their year. Not too a half game, but not too far. It ain't looking too good from them Bucks. They making it. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good with you, Master Sergeant? How you doing this morning? Glad to have you in formation. a great Hawaiian morning, I'm sure, over there. Um, Additionally, where you at? I'm sorry, I got a little off track. Um, okay, we're here. We're here. The Falcons, Atlanta Falcons, and Cincinnati Bengals. You know what? In one of a couple of fantasy leagues, like I said, I play in a couple of fantasy leagues every year. In one particular fantasy league, I just traded steaming, really beaming. I don't know, CC. Maybe they gonna hit him with something. He gonna get something. Burrow balling out. So like I was saying, right in one of my leagues, I just recently because I'm doing bad in that league. I'm like I think I got my first win, so I'm 0-6 or 0 1-5 or 1-6 at this point. So there's no way for me to come back to play in the playoffs. But I could be a spoiler. I could play spoiler to others. So I traded Chase away for Smith and Montgomery because I had a weak running back core. So I had to give up something. The only reason I gave up Chase is because I have Higgins as well. So I gave up Higgins. I gave up Chase to trade in Higgins being a formidable player and hopefully Smith coming in and playing and Montgomery giving me being to wavering me some points. Now what I will say is since I did the trade, I haven't lost a game. So I won my first game. So I don't know, maybe it was good, but Jamar balled out, Burrow balled out, Cincinnati stand up. The Bengals Burrow 34 for 42, 481 yards passing. Woe is whoever had to face Joe Burrow on this day, 3 touchdowns. Mixon 17 for 58 with 1 touchdown. Burrow 3 rushes for 20 yards and a touchdown himself. The man was out of his mind. Tyler Boyd 8 receptions, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase 8 receptions, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins 5 receptions, 93 yards, no touchdown. Hayden Hurst 6 receptions, 48 yards, no touchdown. Joe Mixon 3 receptions. Michael Mitchell 2 for 14, and Samaji P. Ryan 8. As Cincinnati was in rare form. Marcus Mariota 8 for 13, 124 yards with the touchdown. I know one of those that came on a 75-yarder. Tyler Ashgear 16 carries for 50 yards with 1 touchdown. Marcus Mariota, 6 carries for 31 yards. Caleb Huntley, 6 for 22. Bird, 1 reception. That's what it was, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Alameda Zacchaeus, 3 receptions, 31 yards. Kyle Pitts, 3 receptions, 9 yards. Drake London, 1 for 9. Another one. I'm glad I didn't start him. Yeah, if you played against Cincinnati, you had no chance. I wonder who was able to win a game and they played against the Bengals and they had even Chase and or Burrow. Uh, Falcons fall to 3-4 on the year. Bengals improved to 4-3 on the year, and yet the beat goes on. Next up, I know, Cowboys fans, where you at? Handily taking care of the Detroit Lions. Pity the fool that chose the Lions. Dallas taking care of business. Pity the fool that chose the Lions. In which I think I was the only person in the picks this week that chose the Cowboys. Cowboys getting the win 24-6. Dak Prescott back 19 for 25, 270 yards with a touchdown. Pilot 12 for 83. Ezekiel Elliott 15 carries for 57 yards with 2 touchdowns. Kayvon Turpin 1 for 3. Dak 3 carries with no yards. CeeDee Lamb 4 receptions, 70 yards. Noah Brown 5 with 50 yards. Dalton Schultz 5 for 49. Tony Pollard 2 for 26. Peyton Hendershot 2 receptions for 5 yards with a touchdown in tow. It just wasn't a good day for Jared Goff. 21 for 26, 228 yards with 2 interceptions. Jamal Williams back, 15 carries for 79 yards. Khalif Raymond, 2 for 20. Craig Reynolds, 4 for 12, 1 for 4. There's people that did it, Sauce. There's people that did it. Jared Goff 1 for 4, and Justin Jackson 3 for 2 yards. Khalif Raymond 5 yards for 5 receptions, 75 yards. Brock Wright 457. T.J. Hockenson 4 for 48. Craig Reynolds 3 for 18. Tom Kennedy 2 for 14. Josh Reynolds 1 for 18. Amon-Ra 1 for 4 as he came back, but I think he left again with another injury. Time to probably shut him down or move him on. Detroit. Campbell, I hope you can last this season. I think you're actually a pretty good coach, or you have great traits. I hope you can at least get one more season to where you can get all your pieces in place, so you can show that you can be formidable. Cowboys taking care of business. That's basically what it is. Now 5-2 in the season. Detroit falls to 1-5 on their season again. I think Campbell could get one more. Can get at least one more season. Nate, I think he could at least before that. I don't think he's done yet. I think they give him one more year at least, or at least let him go until his contract is over. So, but Detroit 1-5 on the season. Dallas 5-2 on theirs. Continue on. Another NFC East monster, I guess you could say. If you got an undefeated Eagles team, a 5-2 Dallas team, but yet there's someone else that's out there. The New York Giants, 23-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars to improve to 6-1 on the season. Jacksonville drops to 2-5. The Giants, led by Daniel Jones, is 19 for 30, 202 yards and 1 touchdown. Saquon Barkley, 24 carries for 110 yards. Daniel Jones, 11 carries for 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. If y'all don't know and y'all didn't recognize, Daniel Jones gets it done with his legs. Pay attention or it's going to get burnt. Matt Breida, 4 for 19. Darius Slayton, 3 receptions, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. Wendell Robinson, 6 for 50. Saquon contributed with 4 catches for 25 yards. Chris Merrick, 2 for 21. David Seals, 1 for 19. Matt Breida, 1 for 14. And David Bellinger, 1 for 13. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is 22 for 43. 310 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Travis Etienne Jr., 14 carries, 114 yards, carrying and a touchdown. Applewhite, you're welcome. Zay Jones, 1 carry for 14 yards. JaMychal Hasty, 1 for 6. Christian Kirk, 1 for 5. Christian Kirk, that was receptions. Receiving. Christian Kirk receiving 7 receptions for 96 yards. Again, Applewhite, you're welcome. Evan Ingram, 4 for 67. Marvin Jones, 4 for 57. Zay Jones, 4 for 54. 1 for 24 for Arnold. It just wasn't enough output or key at key times as New York was able to hold on and get this win, winning 23-17. The Giants is showing that they're a problem. Dallas, what are y'all going to do? Philly, what are y'all going to do? Do y'all have what it takes to hold off the Giants? Of course, it remains to be seen. It'll be coming up. Washington Commanders fans, where y'all at? Stand up. Getting it taken care of. Taylor Heineke back like he never left before. Washington Commanders get the W, 23-21. 3-4 in the year. Hey, I see you, sis. 3-4 in the year. Green Bay Packers 3-4 in the year too. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 35, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 8 carries for 23 yards. A.J. Dillon, 4 for 14. Allen Lazard, 6 receptions for 55 yards. Aaron Jones, 9 receptions, 53 yards, plus 2 touchdowns. Sammy Watkins back from his injury, 2 receptions for 36 yards. Robert Tonyan, 3 for 32. Amari Rogers, 2 for 14. But it was the Commanders' night. Tyler Heineke, 20 for 33, 201 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, but an interception. Brian Robinson, the rookie, coming back after being shot multiple times, made his way back in 6 games, 73 yards rushing on the night. Antonio Gibson, 10 for 59. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 26 rushing. Taylor Heineke, 2 for 4 himself. Terry McLaurin, 5 receptions, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Antonio Gibson, 3 receptions, 18 yards, and a touchdown. Samuel, 53 yards receiving. Amari Rogers, 28 yards receiving. Brian Robinson, 2 receptions for 13 yards receiving. And the Washington Commanders commanded the win. Taylor Heineke back again. The shell of himself. You might be right, Applewhite. Between him and Brady, I don't know, man. That's 2 weeks in a row in which they have got L's. Both of them losing 0-2 in the last 2 weeks. I guess they have to turn it around. Got to get the turnaround. Got to get the get back, of course. Like I said, now Washington, although they are still at the bottom of the NFC East, things might be looking up for them. Now they got to go out and get some quality wins to see how that goes, see where they could be at. The next game, moving forth, Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans. 4-2 Tennessee Titans with the win, 19-10, dropping the Colts to 33-3 on the season. Matt Ryan, 33 receptions, 33 class completions for 44 attempts, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor coming back, 10 carries for 58 yards. Deion Jackson, 2 for 3. Naheed Jones, 4 for 2. Paris Campbell, 10 receptions, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr., 6 for 58. Nyheim Hines, 5 for 41. Alec Pierce, 3 for 37. Jonathan Taylor, 7 receptions, 27 yards. But it wasn't enough. The Titans, excuse me, oh, my nose is. Ryan Tannehill, 13 for 20, 132 yards. Of course, all the heavy lifting done by, of course, King Henry, Derrick Henry, 30 carries for 128 yards. Ryan Tannehill, 4 yards, 6 yards in contribution. Austin Hooper, tight end, 3 for 56. Cody Hollister, 2 for 32. Robert Woods, 3 receptions for 26 yards. Derrick Henry contribution, 3 for 10 yards in the passing game. Hassan Haskins, 1 for 5. Of course, there's more to be said or done. These records, these games aren't indicative of what has been produced on the field. Again, in any case, no matter how pretty or ugly it is, it gets taken care of. Tennessee gets a win 4-2 on the year after a bye. Indianapolis 3-1. Not out the picture yet. Still well within play. Again, still has about 9 games left in the season. Who knows what'll happen? Moving on, Houston Texans and Las Vegas Raiders. Grand Fashion Jacobs. That's all we'll say. We'll get to him in a second. But Houston, this was a toilet bowl game. But you wouldn't have thought it. You would have thought that the Las Vegas Raiders was exactly who we thought they were at the beginning of the season with all the acquisitions in which they pulled down. But that wasn't the case. 2-4 currently on the year, and only 2-4 because they get the win 38-20 over. They get the game, that win over over the Houston Texans, who were 1-4-1 on the year, 38-20. The Texans 28 for 41 yards from Davis Mills passing, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Damian Pierce 20 yards, 20 carries for 92 yards. Rex Burkhead 2 for 8. Jordan Atkins three for 68 passing. Brandon Cooks 4 for 46. Philip Dorsett 2 receptions for 45 yards with the touchdown. Chris Moore 2 receptions for 20 yards with the touchdown to go. But it just wasn't enough as the Raiders was in rare form, where one person was in rare form. Derek Carr was 21 for 27, 241 yards with a touchdown. Josh Jacobs 20 carries for 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ran his way into the records books with his mentor Marcus Allen with the most consecutive games of 150 or more, 140 or more yards rushing. Consecutive games, 3 consecutive games of touchdowns or 100-yard games. Devontae Adams, 8 receptions, 95 yards. Hunter Renfrow, 3 for 55. Matt Collins was 2 for 44 with a touchdown. Foster Moreau, spelling tight end, Greg Waller, Darren Waller, 3 receptions for 28 yards. And then Josh Jacobs, of course, 3 receptions for 12 yards. As the Raiders take care of business, like I said, getting the win 38-20 over the Houston Texans. As we talked about earlier, top of the hour, at the top of this hour, talking about Breece Hall, as he left the game with presumably what might be an ACL injury. But in case the New York Jets, now 5-2, gets the win 16-9 over the Denver Broncos. With Brett Ripken at the helm as Russell Wilson sat out because of a hamstring injury. Brett Ripken 24 for 46, 225 yards with the interception. Melvin Gordon 11 carries for 33 yards. Latavius Murray, 8 carries for 24 yards with a touchdown. Mike Boone, 4 carries for 23 yards. Jerry Jeudy Jr., 7 receptions, 96 yards. Greg Dulcich, 6 for 51. Cortland Sutton, 3 for 23. Eric Thompson, 2 for 21. And Melvin Gordon, additionally, 2 for 17. The Jets, Zach Wilson, 16 for 26 for 121 yards. Breece Hall, at the time, 4 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Michael Carter, 13 for 29. Braxton Berrios, 2 for 27. Zach Wilson, 4 for 24 on his own. Additionally, Michael Carter, 2 receptions for 45 yards. Garrett Wilson, 4 for 24. Tyler Conklin, 4 for 22. Braxton Berrios, 3 for 15. Denzel Mills, embattled Denzel Mills, 1 for 4. CJ Uzuma, 1 for 5. And Ty Johnson, 1 for 6. Of course, 9 tackles, and a 1 assist for Sauce Gardner, as I believe he got an interception as well to help to close out the game. They keep rolling. New York Jets, surprisingly taking care of business. Now they're 5-2 on the season. Broncos 2-5, as stated before. Russ got to get back and turn it around. I guess you can't hold him responsible for the losses after when he's not there, but the ones he was there. And yet we come to this game. The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Levi Strauss Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers, in which San Fran was not able to hold the line. A rematch from the Super Bowl 3 years ago in San Francisco took another L. Although it was a good game. It was a good game up until the fourth quarter. But like I said, San Francisco, too many mistakes and penalties. San Francisco loses this game 23-44 to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 25 for 34 for 423 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Isaiah Pacheco getting the start, 8 carries for 43 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 6 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown. McCole Hardman, 2 carries for 28 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Juju Smith Schuster, 7 receptions for 124 yards plus a touchdown. Marquez Valdez Scantling, 3 receptions for 111 yards. Receiver Travis Kelsey, 6 for 98 yards. McCole Hardman, 4 receptions, 32 yards plus a touchdown. Uh, Justin Watson, one reception for 4 yards and a touchdown. It just wasn't it just wasn't enough. Jimmy Garoppolo, 25 for 37, 303 yards. Not bad. 2 touchdowns and an interception. Brock Purdy, 4 for 9 in spelling Garoppolo, 66 yards, but he threw an interception as well. Jeffrey Wilson, 7 carries for 54 yards. Christian McCaffrey, his first game with the squad after the trade, 8 carries for 38 yards. Hopefully that gets better over time when he starts to further figure out the offense. Tyrion Davis Price, 2 for 4. Garoppolo, 2 for 2. George Kittle, 6 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Ray McCloud, 4 receptions, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, 7 receptions for 82 yards. Debo, 5 for 42. Kyle Jusic, 3 for 34. Jawan Jennings, 2 for 24. And McCaffrey, 2 for 24 as well. I'm just saying. Yes, so, Anthony, CMC don't need to play defense. We have a defense. Let's not get it twisted. San Francisco was the number 1 or number 2 rated defense in the league prior to this game. It's just penalties. And, we can't account for Garoppolo getting sacked and ran down from behind. And contributing to it and trying to make plays to put us in position, missing extra 2-point conversions. So all that comes into play. And it's just how it happens. So we'll figure it out. You good, Lysandra, man. You gotta stay resilient. Yes, they didn't give any points this week, but think about all the times they have gave points. Is it what have you done for me lately? That's what we're doing. Is that what we're doing? Really? The Seahawks and the Chargers. Seattle takes another one, 4-3 on the year, taking their position atop the AFC West with this victory, 4-3 on the year at the 37-23 win over the Los Angeles Chargers. So, of course, like you're saying, the Los Angeles Chargers not just lose a game in their foothold, being the strengthened hold on the AFC West, they also lose 2 key players. The Seahawks, Justin Herbert, 33 for 51, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Austin Eckler, 9 for 31 with the touchdown. Justin Herbert was 3 for 22 rushing himself. Austin Eckler, 12 receptions, 96 yards, and 1 touchdown. Mike Williams, 7 receptions, 86 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. But of course, also Mike Williams ends up leaving the game late in the fourth quarter with a high ankle injury. Gerald Everett, 5 for 63. DeAndre Carter, 3 for 37. Keenan Allen, back in the fray, 2 for 11. Sonny Michel, 1 for 8. Of course, they also lose their acquisition of J.C. Jackson, who they obtained during the offseason. He goes out with a dislocated knee. Just a bunch of misfortunes have now, when you look at it, the AFC, we thought so much for the AFC West, and yet that's not what we get. Kansas City rolling along and taking care and holding it down the AFC West. Chargers hanging by a thread. The Raiders and Broncos, we don't even know who the hell they are. But, again, 9 games in the season, a lot could happen, especially where those teams have to play one another. But again, the Chargers fall to the Seahawks 37-23. And the beat goes on. The Steelers and Dolphins faced off last night on the Sunday Night Football, the primetime slate. The Steelers take the L, losing 16-10, falling to 2-5 on the year. That is getting pretty. It's getting pretty tight that hole starting to close on potentially the 16 consecutive seasons with a non-losing record. Um, Dolphins get the W 4-3 on the year with the 6-point win. Steelers, Kenny Pickett was 32 for 44 for 257 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Najee Harris rushed for 17 yards, 17 carries for 65 yards. Kenny Pickett was 3 for 20. Plaque Frymouth, the tight end for for I'm sorry, slipped my head. For the Steelers, 8 receptions, 75 yards. George Pickens, the rookie, 6 receptions for 61 yards, touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 5 for 42. Chase Claypool, 5 for 41 yards receiving. The Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa back in his first game since being out with in the concussion protocol. 20 for 1 for 35, 261 yards, 1 touchdown. Raheem Mostert, 16 carries for 79 yards. Chase Edmonds, 7 for 17. Jalen Waddle led the charge for the receiving corps with 4 receptions for 88 yards. Tyreek Hill, 7 for 72. Raheem Mostert receiving 4 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Gesicki, 3 receptions for 27 yards, and Trent Sherfield, 3 for 44. I don't know about that, Applewhite. So I don't know how effective the preseason actually is. I think it's actually a case by case basis for the most part. Um, when you look at it, does like you said, um, it just depends on teams. Some teams do well with the preseason. Other teams tend to compile a bunch of injuries. So I don't know if it does any good to have a longer preseason, and for the most part. So I don't know if there's any data out there on that. Uh, but like I said, in case Tua got back and got the Dolphins to a 4-3 start. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying, it just depends on it really depends on the team and the organization and how they what they do to play to put forth the efforts. Like you said, um, it's obvious that they can work out well, of course, and then injuries tend to thwart things. So there's a lot of different factors and narratives in there, which we can say yay or nay, in which the preseason does or does not work. I don't know where Bishop is, but I mean that could be possible. It could be uh, drunk. uh, we'll see if it is. We'll see it posted on because Venables posts all the time on social media, so we'll see it. Yeah, I'm very sure it'll be posted on the Oklahoma social media page, so you'll be able to see it on the First Formation page when it pop up. Um, so, of course, that brings us to football shape matters and injuries are a result of not being in shape. I won't argue that, Sauce. I won't argue that. Argue with you on that. So, of course, that brings us to tonight's game. The Chicago Bears 2-3, the New England Patriots 3-3. In my case, I believe that I think New England gets the win tonight. I'm going with that's my pick. I have to hit Ron and Bishop to see what they're talking about. But in my case, I think the New England Patriots get the win. Of course, if Billy Zappi, I don't know if who is going to be the starting quarterback. I think it's going to be Billy Zappi for New England. Of course, we know it's Justin Fields for Chicago. Zappi continues to be formidable and can get this win, we might start to see an issue, maybe a little bit of controversy brewing in New England. But of course, we know Mac Jones is going to probably get that back. They as a first round draft pick. Um, so yeah, of course. Additionally, some after seeing the don't really know how to pick it. That's that part, Anthony. It really don't. That part. But what will help, of course, going forward, like I said, Mike Williams is out in currently in San Diego, as well as J.C. Jackson. DK Metcalf, if y'all wasn't watching, went down with the potential knee injury. They have to do an MRI to see how that's going to turn out. So I have a possibility of that, going forth with picking. We'll see how that impacts. At this point, we don't know what's going on. Do you like you said, seeing that how it went down? Uh, Matter of fact, who is next week? Who does Green Bay and Tampa Bay have? Uh, or are they both off? I think they both off next week. So yeah, if you Green Bay plays the Bills, so that's probably going to be the third loss. Or do we see Green Bay does Aaron Rodgers edge one out? Like I don't know how what's going to happen. Tampa Bay is off next week. Um, Oh no, they're not. Tampa Bay plays the Thursday night game against Baltimore. So does Tampa Bay lose yet another one? Like, what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, man. We get to see. Of course, we'll get into it a little further into the week. But in any case, y'all hear my pick. That's the show for today. I got to get to this meeting that we got as my season gets ready to come to the end, and our big Turkey Bowl is going to be happening towards the end of this November. Uh, I don't know, Sauce. I guess you have to do you gonna have to do a little research on that to see, or you could be the first. You can call it the 2000. You can put it together. But in case, like I said, that's the show for today. I greatly appreciate y'all high speed rocking with me this morning. Of course, wouldn't be able to do the show without you. Back and forth rhetoric. Look forward to see y'all tomorrow. Y'all know where to find us every morning 09 to usually 1100 or 1100 in between there. Hopefully, I look forward to probably get some of the people that's out there if you've been paying attention or watching military basketball. The all army teams is being been doing their training. Men and women, the Air Force teams have been engaging in theirs. I'm very sure Marines and as well as the Navy and Air Force doing their thing. So maybe we be able to get some of them on. I have to talk to Coach Richardson, Coach Bartley, Coach Parker, Hunter, and Walcott, Coach Paris, all of them, reach out to them to see Collins, see if we can get them on to talk about the for as the armed forces get ready to get started. I greatly appreciate y'all checking with us this morning, checking in. Roll fire to you, my brothers, as well, sis. I look forward to seeing y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all day. Be information tomorrow morning. Peace.